Welcome to Roadshow News Recap. The biggest story this week is actually something pretty small because Ford revealed its new Maverick compact truck, about a foot shorter than the midsize Ranger. This pint-sized pickup is refreshingly petite, but it's also mighty, offering plenty of capability, up to 40 miles per gallon city, and a starting price of around $21,000. Now, in other important news, the Tesla Model S Plaid ultra-high-performance electric car is here, unveiled by our motor car messiah, Elon Musk. Honda teased the upcoming hatchback version of its new Civic, and Sean has some thoughts on this. Finally, Kia introduced a new version of the Sportage SUV, and it is seriously stylish. But if all that's not enough, we also cover this week's social media poll where we asked you what you think of this new Ford Maverick. There's a lot to get to this week, so I will shut my yapper.
Yeah, you done, Craig? That was a heck of a long intro. Jeez.
Yeah, there's a lot to get through, Sean. What can I say? And happy Friday to you, my friend.
And happy Friday to you.
Yes, thank you so much, and happy Friday to all of you watching live. If you are, of course, watching live, make sure to drop your questions or comments in the chat box because we love interacting with you guys. And remember to check out the Roadshow News Recap most Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern right here on the Roadshow YouTube channel or on Facebook and sometimes even Twitch. Yeah, it's true.
We are everywhere, but this Maverick, it's pretty exciting, Craig.
It is. It is. It's been a long time since we have had a true compact pickup truck in the U.S. And that right there is, and now we've got two of them coming, right? We've got the Maverick and the Santa Cruz from Hyundai. So pretty exciting times, I must say.
Yeah, very exciting to finally see some automakers play in this space again because, frankly, I don't know why it took this long for somebody to be like, you know what? I think we need a small pickup truck again.
Yeah, right. One that people might actually be able to afford without taking out, like an 84-month loan or something.
Right.
New cars,
yes.
I'm not sure if you've checked, they're expensive.
Yeah, they're very expensive, like flirting with $40,000 on average expensive. And we'll talk about how basically the Maverick cuts that MSRP in half a little bit later. It's just one of these pretty great attributes of this truck, Craig.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are not familiar with the basics, so the Maverick is a compact truck. That means it's smaller than the Ranger in Ford's lineup, which is, of course, a mid-size truck. It's about a foot shorter than the Ranger, and it has car-based bones. So basically, it's built much like a Honda Ridgeline. There is not a separate ladder-style frame like you get on, say, an F-150 or something. It shares a lot of mechanical components with the Bronco Sport and the Ford Escape, which is probably why Ford was able to offer this vehicle at such a reasonable starting price because of all of those shared components. So yeah, it's something a little bit different if you're only used to traditional trucks. But the styling, Sean, what is your take on this thing? I've seen it in person, but what do you think?
I think it's pretty good overall. I mean, this is going to be a very affordable vehicle from Ford. And I mean, the exterior, even in its base trim, which we've seen with its 17-inch steel wheels, it looks pretty good. I mean, you miss out on a little bit of bright work in the grille and stuff like that and the fancier wheels at the cheapest price. But I really like it because it just looks like a truck, and I think that's going to appeal to more people than perhaps the Hyundai Santa Cruz, which really looks like a Hyundai Tucson with the back carved out for a truck bed. And I'm not saying that's a bad looking truck. I just think these two cars really are going after very different buyers, where Ford's targeting its more, traditional truck buyers, or I think what they said is people who didn't know they wanted a pickup truck. It's a little bit more approachable, and I like it. It's simple, and that's refreshing to me.
So many vehicles these days are way over designed. They've got creases and lines and trim and giant grills and everything. And this new Maverick is just simple and like refreshingly honest. And in a way, it kind of reminds me of an F-150 from back in the early 1990s, the sort of squared off design, if you remember, very clean lines on
Oh
those
yeah.
trucks as well.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see if the Maverick appeals more to traditional truck buyers than that upcoming Santa Cruz, which is, of course, much more avant-garde with sort of slashes in the body and lots of forms and shapes and everything. But yeah, very clean, simple design. Maverick also comes with standard LED headlights and standard automatic high beams, which are always great. At the rear of the vehicle, though, that's where there is a lot of innovation. Ford is calling this the flex bed. It's a 4.5-foot long cargo box, and they have loaded it with clever features. Now, some of these aren't necessarily new, but it's super nice to see all of these features kind of brought together into one place. So they have these pockets that are stamped into the bedside, so you can put wooden dividers in to make your own cargo dividers, which we've seen on other trucks, of course. But then they've also got available storage cubbies. There are a whole bunch of tie-down points. There's accessible 12-volt power, so you can hardwire your own accessories into the truck without screwing up the tail light wiring harness and blowing a fuse or something. So a lot of very clever stuff here, Sean.
Oh yeah, I mean they just jam-packed the rear of the truck with a ton of really useful things. And I can't understate enough with this truck. Americans love pickup trucks. Pickup trucks are very expensive. Now, you shove all of this usability. Now, granted, you're not going to get F-150 style towing and payload ratings like that, but for the average person, this truck is going to probably do, I would say, I'd go as far as saying 90% of what a Ranger or an F-150 buyer does. And now you're going to offer it to people at a super affordable price. I just like, if I was the professor and the blue oval was in my classroom, they'd be getting like 6 stickers on their essay, A+. I mean, because this just looks like Grand Slam home run to me.
Yeah. And it's not like it's kind of a no-brainer, right? Because there aren't any other compact trucks. Like if you want to form a new segment, that's a great place to do it, given everyone's obsession with trucks and the fact that there are no rivals.
Right. And Ford even pointed this out when it was debuted. They're like, this is a white space vehicle. Now, a lot of brands have used that term. I think most famously Buick did with like the Regal, what was it? The wagon. I can't remember. Tourex.
Tourex,
you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah, the Tourex. Well. No. But truly, I mean, it's very hard to find a competitor for this vehicle. Like we said, the Hyundai Santa Cruz is going to be its closest, but not really, you know, at the end of the day, because that's going to be more premium. This is going in a different direction. But you know, and like I said, this is still going to be so usable. You know, you could fit, I think, I don't know if you mentioned, but you know, with the tailgate position and stuff like that, you know, 18 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood in the back. I mean, that's great. 1,500 pounds worth of payload. I mean, for the average person, they probably want to just stuff like a big piece of furniture in the bed or something like that, tie it down and get it where they need to go. Like, that's just like realistic usability that I think this truck is going to appeal to so many people.
Absolutely. You mentioned the tailgate. It locks in a mid position. So to your point, 18 sheets of plywood, they slide right in over the wheel wells. They do stick out past the tailgate a 1.5 or 2 feet, but they still fit in there. You don't have to load them at an angle or anything weird like that. Another big benefit, too, is the bed height. Thanks to the Maverick's low ride height and the sidewalls of the bed are pretty low, I think something like a 95th percentile woman can reach in and grab cargo from in the bed. You don't need like a step ladder, which if you've got like a Chevy Silverado Trail Boss or something, there's no way you can reach over those bed rails and into the bed to get, you know, your toolbox or whatever you've thrown in there. So that easy accessibility is going to be a huge benefit to this small Maverick.
Oh yeah, I'm just shy of 6 foot. I am not a tall person, so even for me, you know, if I'm reaching into an F-150, I'm like, I can't grab anything, you know. That's so like for something like, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
I was gonna say that, yeah, it's great to be able to reach in there, and that's why we see so many like trucks that come with bumper steps and separate little steps that pop out because you can't reach anything. They're too tall. They're too big.
It's true. I mean, it's just all these little things that, granted, we are eager to try this little pickup truck out in the real world, and we can't wait to drive it and stuff like that. But on paper, it really seems like Ford nailed the target and the truck's mission. And that really is. And I am not one to like, push up, marketing bloat words and stuff like that. But, they're saying this is for people who didn't know they wanted a truck. I'm like, well, dang, I kind of want one, and I've never wanted a pickup truck.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know our producer who's running the back end of things, Evan Miller, he was super excited. I talked to him earlier today, in fact, and messaged him last week. He's very excited about this truck. He even went and built one on the Ford site and was telling me all about it. So it's going to appeal to a lot of people, I think. Speaking of people, I'm just looking at the YouTube chat. We've got a whole bunch of questions here. Logan Mahoney wants to know, what are the chances Ford releases a hybrid all-wheel drive version a year off of launch? It's a very good question. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. Obviously, the all-wheel drive is coming out. It's going to be, the hybrid version is coming out. That's front drive only.
Yes. Actually, Craig, there was some reporting, and really what I understand is Ford basically ran out of time to do a hybrid all-wheel drive version, just with the powertrain and implementing an all-wheel drive system. So they didn't say it's coming soon, but it sounds like it's definitely on their radar. So I think it will happen. We don't know when.
Yeah, it might be a good way of good thing to do at the mid-cycle refresh time point, a year or two down the road, to sort of generate more buzz and build more sales. Hey, we got all-wheel drive and hybrid now. You can get 38 miles per gallon city and have better performance in snow or mud. So yeah, wouldn't be surprised if they launched that. HL Fitzpatrick wants to know, is Ford going to come out with an electric Maverick? Again, I haven't heard anything. So. What about you, Sean?
I haven't heard a peep about it.
It seems like a no-brainer.
It does. They're really going all in on electric vehicles. There's a huge push at Ford right now to electrify and make their icons electric, as they call them, Mustang, et cetera, F-150. So I feel like it might be inevitable, because I don't see, this is a new nameplate, but I don't see it flopping where it's going to go away. And if it sticks around, inevitably you're probably going to see a battery in there.
Yeah, totally. Dennis Lara says, I don't think the Maverick will be all EV because it would undermine the F-150, the Lightning model. That's a very good point, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then Antonio Jimenez says, imagine a Ford Maverick Tremor and Raptor. That would be amazing. That would be pretty amazing. Although the Maverick is front drive based, so I don't know how feasible that is, but
yeah, maybe the engineers can do some witchcraft and drop the 2.3 EcoBoost in there or something, make it really cool.
Yes, that would. No, screw that. Put the 3.5 high output in there.
Right. Over here on Facebook, Jeremy Cruz said, wait, Ford is creating another truck using a car name? Does it cost that much to develop a new name? And he's obviously talking about Mustang Mach-E, and now Maverick, for people who don't know, was actually a little, muscle coupe back in the 70s. So it seems some people aren't happy with the Maverick name returning on a truck.
Well, some people aren't happy ever, so you can't please all of the people all of the time, right? But I'm sure that's a name they already have the copyright, the trademark on. So they've probably been paying to maintain that, and why not use it? Because it sounds pretty cool, and there hasn't been one for a while. So go for it, would be my take. Yeah. Lots of people on the YouTube chat were asking about where the truck was made. It is built in Mexico, Hermosillo. And people are saying, well, that's probably why it's so cheap. And maybe, but I'm not sure how much the labor cost is a factor in the assembly, in bringing the truck out at that price point. But it certainly has some role to play. But
yeah, I think there's definitely some role, for the price. They're targeting this very aggressive price. But really, I think the bigger thing is that it shares a platform with the Escape and the Bronco Sport. And now you have three vehicles sharing an architecture. I mean, it's just economies of scale like crazy at that point. I mean, the Escape, while the latest one hasn't, been flying off dealer lots like past ones, the Bronco Sport is a hot commodity, and I guarantee you the Maverick will be too. So I think that's part of your price equation.
Mm-hmm. Gun Quickie says, I want one. I only need a truck a few times a year when I go hunting in a national forest. The rest of the year, I want good MPG, which the Maverick is going to give you. We should talk about the powertrain at this point, probably. We mentioned standard hybrid drivetrain that includes a 2.5-liter Atkinson cycle 4-cylinder engine, and they've matched that to a 94 kilowatt electric motor, which gets you 191 horsepower. So acceleration, it should be very similar to a Ford Escape, basically the same, or Escape hybrid, basically the same drivetrain. So it should move okay, but it won't be the fastest thing on four wheels. And if you're towing, anywhere near the limit, which with the hybrid drivetrain is 2,000 pounds is what it's rated to tow, which is enough for a couple jet skis probably. It won't be the fastest thing around, but it'll do the job, and it should still get you 40 miles per gallon city. When you're just tooling around town.
Yeah. The only thing that makes me hesitant is the continuously variable transmission. CVTs kind of suck. They're not great. And
yeah,
I mean, there are some good CVTs. Now, I would pick a CVT, but if I have to have a CVT, there are some better ones than others. Well, again, we have to wait and see. We haven't driven it, but that might be just something you got to swallow, because overall this package looks very enticing. And, I get it. CVTs have benefits for fuel economy, so it makes sense here. But we'll have to wait and see when we drive it. Hopefully it's not what do you want to call it? A buzzkill.
Yeah, right. Well, the thing is, too, with hybrid CVTs, this is an e-CVT, so it's not exactly the same design as you would get with like a Jatco that you find in a Nissan or something, because those have the sort of chain, and the variable pulleys. This is an e-CVT, which is similar to basically the same thing as what Toyota does in its hybrid. So there are like two motors and there are planetary gear sets, and somehow it works all of that together and it makes it function as a CVT. I don't know how it works exactly, but it does. And there shouldn't be the same durability concerns as far as I know. But as always, you got to wait and see.
Yep, exactly. I was just going to say, you got to wait and see. But I mean, overall, it sounds really good. But for people who don't want the hybrid and just want some more power, and you don't get a CVT with this option, there's a 2-liter EcoBoost engine with an 8-speed traditional automatic. That's good for 250 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque. And there is where you can get the available all-wheel drive as well.
Yes, lovely 2-liter EcoBoost. Did you say the horsepower yet, Sean? I can't remember.
Yeah, 250 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque.
Yeah, those are some pretty good numbers. Of course, available with all-wheel drive. And if you do go with the EcoBoost engine, that gets you a tow rating of 4,000 pounds, which isn't too bad. A lot of, SUVs top out at 3,500 pounds. So this is a little bit more than that. And according to Ford, that's enough for like a 21-foot boat or camper, which is a pretty sizable vehicle. Should be longer than the Maverick itself, I would think.
Yeah, it'll be funny to see it towing something like that. But hey, if it can do it, the more the merrier.
Absolutely. And one interesting engineering point, the hybrid versions, which are front drive only for now, they feature a torsion beam at the rear end. But the models fitted with the EcoBoost engine get a multi-link suspension setup. So maybe they will drive a little bit better. But this isn't a sports car, so you probably won't notice much of a difference, truth be told.
Right.
Anyway, you can drop your questions or comments in the chat. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we did a poll on social media. We'll be getting to those results very soon. Logan Mahoney is asking, are there any non-eCVT hybrids? And the answer is yes. Yes, there are. You don't need to have a CVT to have a hybrid drivetrain. In fact, last week I was just in the BMW 330e sedan, which is a plug-in hybrid, and that uses a traditional 8-speed automatic transmission. And the drivetrain works very well, I might add. you can look for that review on the roadshow.com in the coming weeks.
Shameless plug.
What can I say? What can I say? What else is going on in our chat room here? Anything exciting? Logan Mahoney says, I believe Ford also uses the eCVT technology from Toyota. Yeah, I heard both companies kind of developed it simultaneously and just agreed to let each other use it, if I remember
I didn't know that.
correctly.
Interesting.
I could be mistaken, but if I recall, that's kind of what happened, which is nice. It's like it's sharing and caring, right? You don't get a lot of that
Sharing
these
and
days.
caring. Yes. Good for them. They're just happy little companies.
Yeah. Happy, gigantic, multinational corporations.
Yeah, just a little Bob Ross moment for you there. Happy little companies.
Yeah. Shall we move on to the interior, Sean? Because there's a bit to talk about there as well.
Yeah, we should. It's pretty simple in here. And, not only did we get the press photos that show, the top of the line interior, which looks really good and kind of rugged in its own way. Even the base trim, it doesn't look too much like a penalty box. Like some of the nicer, additions and doodads and, bright work aren't in there. But for people looking for a good to honest little work truck, that's not bad. I mean, cloth seats, decent materials. You still get an 8-inch, I believe an 8-inch touchscreen, no matter which trim you get. So the technology is there. I think it's pretty compelling. And fun fact, Ford's actually hoping that people 3D print their own accessories. They're going to have some sort of roadmap to attach your own 3D printed accessories. If you want like a wiring harness or a extra cup holder or something like that. So that's pretty neat. I've never heard of a company being like, hey, print your own. Now 3D printing isn't incredibly popular. I don't know too many people aside from our editor-in-chief, Tim Stevens, who's actually really big on 3D printing. But I don't know too many people with a 3D printer in their garage or something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure they will catch on in the next few years. But yeah, not a lot of people necessarily doing that right now. The Maverick comes standard with a crew cab body. That means you get 4 real doors, and it should offer similar interior space to what you get in a Ford Ranger. One interesting thing about the interior, it's pretty much all hard plastic, which you would expect at a vehicle priced like this, though the armrests are soft, which is good for your elbows, of course. But they've got this unique gray plastic that they've used, and it features a reground carbon fiber. So it's got this speckled texture to it. So the carbon fiber gives it that unique look and provides a little bit of extra strength. So kind of an interesting material that they've applied there.
Yeah, and I just want to offshoot for a minute because we had some commentary. Sure. We have a video of Chris Paukert, our executive editor. He kind of argued that the Maverick doesn't compete with any new truck, but perhaps like a Honda Civic or a used vehicle. And it'll be interesting to see if that rings true, just because, you've sat in the truck and it's nice. But again, some people might be turned off by the more blockier, rugged interior and some hard plastics where, a new Civic is, very or much more elegant, and maybe a little bit nicer to look at. So it'll be interesting because, Ford also kind of hinted that like this is basically the Ford Focus replacement. Like they're not doing passenger cars anymore, but here's an entry-level truck instead.
Absolutely. This is Ford's new small car, basically. I mean, yes, they offer the EcoSport, but I think we can all, forget about it because yeah. I haven't actually driven one, but everything I've heard is bad.
That's okay. So, you don't need to. It's fine. You are not missing anything.
Okay. Yeah. Have you driven it?
I have, and it's sad.
Ooh. We won't say any more then. Just avoid it.
Yeah. And moving on.
Yes, please change the subject.
Yeah, changing the subject. But no, another cool thing is in the door panels, they're actually kind of carved out for up to 1 liter water bottles. And there's no speakers in the rear doors. in the C pillars, and that's because you get more storage space that way. So there's lots of clever things going on here. Aside from that, you got a little rotary gear selector, which, you know, feels a little bit more premium for this. And then, like I mentioned earlier, there's an 8-inch touchscreen standard across the board. So even if you get the base truck with the steel wheels, you're getting an 8-inch screen. If you get the Lariat, 8-inch touchscreen. So there you go. Some good technology there too. Oh, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto come along for the ride too.
Oh, you can't go wrong with that.
No.
We had a question in the YouTube chat about child seats fitting in the back seat, and I don't see why they wouldn't fit at all. I mean, the back seat is quite spacious. I sat in it. I'm about 6 feet tall, and no trouble with the driver's seat adjusted. My knees were not hitting the back seat, the backrest. So I think you'll be surprised by the space in this little truck. I think you will.
Yeah, Craig, I think you said when you first saw this truck in your other video, which you can see on the Roadshow YouTube channel, the ingress and egress was very, very similar to like a sedan. So you're not like jumping up into it. You're not dropping down like a sports car. And I mean, you know, I'm not that old, but honestly, like I appreciate that these days. Like it's really nice to not have to to step up. Like it's just nice to slide into your car, you know?
Yeah. We have Daniel Korzeniewski, I think. Korzeniewski is asking, will it be able to be flat-towed behind an RV? That I do not know. And I don't think Ford has said anything about that yet. You can try it and just make sure you buy the extended warranty or something.
And Daniel, you report back to us, okay? Like you try it and then tell us. No.
Yeah. So yes, the Maverick is available to pre-order right now. It's going to be available in 3 different trim levels. There's XL, XLT, and then top shelf Lariat. And this vehicle should launch in the fall, a little bit after that Santa Cruz, if I understand correctly. So Hyundai is going to beat into the punch, but probably not by too much. And then this thing starts at $21,490, which includes $1,495 in destination fees, which is just another way for automakers to charge another $1,000, basically. Because that's what it boils down to.
Yeah. Although destination fees suck.
Yeah. And $1,495 is pretty common these days. You'll see like $995 still from like Honda and like I think BMW. But then like Stellantis wants I think $2,000 for the Grand Wagoneer and stuff. It's just like what?
Oh yeah, we've talked about that before here. I'm like that freaking SUV's built in Detroit. So you're telling me if I live in Detroit proper and I want one, it costs $2,000 to get it there? I don't think so.
Yeah, well you got to pay it anyway. They've got
it doesn't matter. I think we do need to touch on just how cheap this truck is still, even with that exorbitant destination fee. You know, this $21,490 price is for that base truck with the steel wheels and kind of the meh looking, you know, work truck interior. But guys, you go to the XL or the XLT, I'm sorry, and it's like under $24,000 and it looks a lot nicer and you get those nice wheels. Like that's a livable truck. Now, granted, there are going to be packages to get your heated seats and stuff like that. But if you're just looking for a decent car with a lot of usability, that I believe is going to be cheaper than a Honda Civic, Craig.
I would not doubt it, which is pretty crazy. And then I was talking to the Ford folks, maxed out every option you can get. The Maverick is going to top out at about $38,000, which is less than the average new vehicle transaction price these days, or pretty damn close. So
yeah,
this is a screaming deal, right? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, and you're right on the money. The average price really is. It floats right around $38,200, something like that. So yeah, you can get a loaded version of this, or you can go look at a mid-size crossover that starts at $32,000. By the time you get some decent options, you're looking at $37,000. You know, so this is why, guys, last week we were like, you got to come back because we're going to have a lot to say about this thing. And it's very impressive on paper and in photos. And we can't wait to play with it in the real world.
Yep. Sean, you sound pretty excited. We know Evan is excited.
Yeah. We're going to have to get a long-term one of these. We're going to have to bug Steve Ewing and say, hey, get us one of these so we can tool around in it for a year.
Totally. Absolutely. Hey, quick question in the chat. JJ is asking, why does Sean not do videos? Why don't you, Sean?
I don't know. That's a good question. I might be working with our substitute producer who does this show sometimes and fills in for the Honorable Evan Lee Miller. We might be doing something about doing something. That's all I'll say. But I don't know. I just haven't. This little show you see here was kind of Craig and I's little brainstorming session, and we're having fun with it. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that'll just about do it for Maverick right now. We're pretty impressed. I think you're going to be. Sup King in the YouTube chat says, I can't wait to get a Maverick. Perfect for what I need. It'll fit the kids and have the bed for when he goes to Home Depot. So yeah, that's pretty much the idea with this truck. Most of the versatility you're ever going to need. Car-like manners, great efficiency, low price. Anyway, let's find out what y'all think of this new Maverick. On Instagram, we pitted it against the upcoming Hyundai Santa Cruz, the old Ford Ranger, like the really old Ranger, the Toyota Tacoma, and of course the Honda Ridgeline. So I think it's high time we see how this thing fared. Evan, you got those pictures handy? There we go. What do you think of the new Maverick? 69% love it, 31% hate it. Pretty impressive.
I thought it'd be a little bit higher, but hey, I get it. Some people, I've heard a lot of people say they don't like how it looks. And you know what? We always say styling is subjective. So, hey, to each their own. But still, that's a pretty good share overall.
Totally.
And here we have the Maverick or Tacoma. Oh, wow, the Tacoma's walking away with it. Those Tacoma folks, they are some loyal people. Craig, you are not a Tacoma folk.
I am not a Tacoma folk. No, I do not care for my personal preference. Don't care for the Tacoma. I get why people like it. I don't want one. I don't want to drive one. I don't want to go on a long road trip in one. I don't want to see one. My opinion. But as you can see, 69% of people. Yeah, right. 69% of people prefer it over the Maverick. I can't say that I'm surprised in that instance. All right, Ridgeline versus Maverick. Very evenly
that's closer.
Split, eh?
Yeah,
55 Maverick, 45 Ridgeline.
Yeah, the Ridgeline's bigger, so that might be more appealing to some people. Also unibody. So again, the Maverick doesn't really compare with anything right now. We're going to have to wait and see.
Totally. And then I believe, what is this? So this is the Hyundai Santa Cruz versus the Maverick. This is damn near 50-50. Wow. People are split on this one.
Huh. Yeah. When I saw the Santa Cruz, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I saw the Maverick and I was like, oh, that's better. That's just me. I said previously, I kind of like the boxier, trucky look personally, but I think the Santa Cruz is very good looking. And I think the Tucson's a very good looking little crossover SUV too.
Totally.
So it's going to be very interesting to see how these cars stack up when they go on sale.
Absolutely. And we are going to have to do a comparison test. Mandatory. So
definitely.
There you go. Oh, I forgot the old Ranger.
The oddball.
It's so old, I forgot about it, right?
All right, 54% and 46%. Huh. Look at that. You can kind of see some family ties there.
You can. And unexpected love for that old Ranger. I'm not an old Ranger fan either, but people showing respect to that thing. So
that's an honest little work truck.
Yeah.
Totally.
So there you go.
But yeah, I was just going to say, those are our polls. Those are the socials. Thank you so much for voting. You can find those every week unless we decide to do something fun with you guys and say, describe the Maverick in one word or something like that, like we've done in the past. But yeah, you can find those at Roadshow Autos. That is our Instagram handle. You can follow us there. We have all sorts of cool stuff on there. But Craig, there was a lot more news this week. Like seriously, it was just like Maverick was like boom. And then there was just like, here's all this other crazy busy things going on. And the biggest thing actually happened late last night, which is the Model S Plaid. Sir Elon Musk pulled the sheet off that guy.
Emphasis on late last night.
Yeah. Very late, at least for us in Eastern time. Our West Coast friends were up a little less late. But the thing with this was it wasn't really new news, but obviously this was the first production Model S Plaid. So this was the big deal about it. Most of the specs we'd already gotten a few months ago when this was revealed. 1,020 horsepower is what Musk is saying. Supposedly, it ran the quarter mile in 9.2 seconds. That's pretty darn quick, so that's exciting. And they're saying a 390-mile range with there's the asterisk, with 19-inch base wheels. You can't upgrade the wheels or else you're not going to get that range. The other flip side to that is if you want the 200 mile per hour top speed, if you're taking delivery of this car now, you can't do it. You got to wait until fall, and then Tesla's going to build a specific wheel and tire package that lets drivers do 200 miles per hour in the Model S Plaid. So
where exactly are you going to go 200 miles an hour? I
don't know. I mean, you can't hit 200 miles per hour on the quarter mile. You have to do like the mile, the standing mile or something, and race, something like one of those events. But
yeah, right.
Like we said, there wasn't really anything like new and breaking. Elon didn't pull a Steve Jobs and go and one more thing or anything like that. But still, it's an exciting vehicle. I think Tesla should get some credit for kind of making cars cool to a different audience. We can't discount the performance and the fact that this is a fast car. It just happens to use a totally different propulsion method.
Yep. And 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. That is like rearrange your organs fast. Like that's other level quick. The quickest car I think I've ever driven was a couple generations ago, a 911 Turbo S. And that thing was just unreal. And what was funny about it was the immediacy of the power. Like you would nail it from a standstill, and there was no like engine revving. There was no waiting for like camshaft phasers to adjust or the transmission to the torque converter to lock up or unlock or whatever. It was just like there's this giant whooshing sound, and suddenly you're like a quarter mile down the road, like just like teleported there.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Faster.
Yeah. It's nuts. It's nuts. Just it will be one heck of a car to punch it in, essentially. But we got some other little tidbitty specs about it. They're saying that there will be 0 performance drop if you do these back-to-back acceleration runs. Typically batteries can not have a great time if you're trying to do repeat performance and stuff like that. There's also a heat pump, and that provides 30% more range in cold weather. The bane of electric vehicles, and that uses 50% less energy to heat the cabin.
Very good things.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes, but
very impressed by the Model S Plaid. Pretty.
Yeah, and if you want one, it's gonna cost $131,100, including a $1,200 delivery charge. So that's a lot.
But no
of money.
Tax credits. You're going to save a few dollars at least, but you're spending a lot.
Yeah. So. Yes. It's not a vehicle for everybody. That's why something here for everybody on this show. You want a $20,000 pickup truck? Well, we talked about that. You want a 6-figure EV? Well, here you go. We're talking about it. We do everything on the Roadshow News Recap, Craig.
It is a real potpourri of things. So
it is.
You can order this Model S Plaid right now, and the Plaid Plus, if you remember that, apparently that's been canceled. Elon Musk mentioned it is no more because the Plaid is just so good. That car was supposed to have 1,100 horsepower and like 520 miles of range. So, yeah. I bet you the battery tech wasn't where they expected it to be. So they're like, yeah, this one's just too good. Yeah. Never mind what we said earlier.
Yeah, no, I don't buy that for 1 second. So something happened there, but only Tesla can get away with stuff like that. But shifting gears is appropriate because this vehicle is going to offer a manual transmission. It's the 2022 Honda Civic hatchback, Craig.
Nice.
Yes, it's officially debuting It's officially debuting on June 23rd, Honda told us, and we got a teaser image of it. Unfortunately, Craig, you pointed out it's got some retro looks, and by retro, you mean like 2012, because it looks like a Honda Cross Tour in profile.
Yes, the little teaser they shared with us shows the car in profile, and as soon as I saw that, I'm like, this looks familiar. And there it
There
is.
it is.
Honda Cross Tour. Holy overhangs.
Oof.
Look at the overhangs.
Yeah, you said I have some thoughts on the Civic hatchback, and I really like the sedan. I think the sedan looks really good. At first, I thought it was a little bit bland and generic when we saw some leaked photos of it. And so I'm trying really hard not to take that same approach with the hatchback, because I think I'll like it when I see it in person. But right now, yeah, that profile is really strange. And from some leaked patent images we've seen of it, the rear taillight assembly kind of reminds me of a Kia Stinger. It has like a light bar and stuff now. So we'll have to see how it wears it. I'm intrigued, and I hope I like it, because I like the Civic, but right now it looks a little frumpy in that teaser photo.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to reinvent the hatchback form factor. Like, look at the Volkswagen Golf or the GTI. They're a box, and they're damn good, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to try and make it swoopy and lower the roof line and do all this other weird stuff. You could keep it a hatchback, and it will be good.
Yeah.
It's
The
not
only thing
hard.
I'll say, and this probably won't happen, is with the Civic Coupe dead and gone, they should absolutely do a Civic sedan SI and do a Civic hatchback SI. I don't know why they haven't done that yet. Like, people who buy hot hatches, like, that's typically their only car because they need some utility and they want to have fun. So why not make a really fun Civic hatchback other than the Type R that people can afford? That's my argument, Honda. You can hire me. I'll sell you the plans for an undisclosed amount of money. Thank you. Good night.
I think you just gave them the plans, though.
They won't do
That's your
it.
mistake,
They won't
Sean.
do it. Honda, you don't have the guts to do it. Prove me wrong or something like that.
Yeah, right. What's under this car's hood? Do we know for sure, or is it speculation?
It should share the sedan's powertrains, which means if you're going for a base Civic hatchback, you're looking at a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, 158 horsepower, 138 pound-feet of torque. Or you upgrade to the 1.5 turbo, and that's 180 horsepower and 177 pound-feet of torque. And like I said, it will be available with a 6-speed manual. Honda killed that on the sedan, but they're focusing the hatchback as like the fun performance-y enthusiast offering. So they're like, we got to offer a stick on it, but you can also get the CVT as well.
Yeah, which I'm sure even in the hatch, they will barely sell any with 3 pedals, but at least they're trying, and thank you for offering the manual.
Yes. Again, I said last week, I'm the one who walks into the dealer asking for the manual, and they got to order it from like 3 states over. So that'd be me if I was shopping a Honda Civic. They won't go to North Carolina. And if you don't know what we're talking about, you'll have to watch last week's episode.
It's a great promo, Sean. I like that.
There you go. But the Civic wasn't all we had. There was another huge debut this week. It was the 2023 Kia Sportage. And this is the kissing cousin to the edgy Hyundai Tucson. And I don't know. I don't know if I like this one more than the Tucson or less. What do you think, Craig?
I'm leaning toward more. Nothing against the Tucson, but it's as multifaceted as a diamond, right? All these weird surfaces and angles and stuff. This looks more cohesive to me, less busy. And obviously the front end interior is beautiful, as you can see. The front end is sort of an evolution of the Tiger Nose grille, but it's substantially different than you might expect. It looks more revolution than evolution. And it kind of reminds me of the Mitsubishi Outlander a little bit.
I was just going to say that, Craig. I was like, you know what this car looks like? It's a Mitsubishi Outlander. And I'm not saying it is a Mitsubishi Outlander. It is not. I'm just saying it looks like that. I also get a little bit of Toyota RAV4 at certain rear quarter profile shots and a little bit of Jeep Cherokee believe it or not, just if the angle's just right. And I'm not knocking it because I think this design looks really good. And I kind of think I like it more than the Tucson as well. And I like the Tucson, but that interior, I mean, I've said it a billion times. What is in the water at Hyundai Kia? Because these are not going to be expensive vehicles. You know, these should be rather attainable unless you're loading it to the gills with options. And it looks wonderful.
Yeah. Same with, I was in a Kia Carnival minivan earlier this week, and it was the fairly basic EX model. It was lovely inside. Absolutely beautiful. It's stylish, but not weird. It's well built. Everything is rock solid. The switchgear and controls feel great. They're just killing it. They're killing it.
Yeah, I actually took delivery of our long-term Kia Carnival, but it's a top-of-the-line model, so that's actually outside, and I hauled a bunch of mulch in it the other day, and it did it with like a charm, but it's just properly luxurious in there. I mean, granted, it costs almost $50,000, but it's really, really nice and comfortable. 3 rows of seats. It's pretty impressive, and you'll see a long-term introduction story coming in the next couple of weeks, and we'll talk about it more at the roadshow.com in a little bit, but we literally just took delivery of it, and we'll spend a year with it, so we'll have to chat about that sometime too.
It's a rolling party, the Carnival.
Oh, it is. Carnival, as Mr. Ewing says we have to call it. Carnival.
Yeah,
but
I always imagine the R in there is super trilled. The Carnival.
You got to roll the R for those who can roll their R's. Some of us aren't as fortunate.
Are you unable to trill the R?
No, I think I can. Carnival. No, look, see, I can do it.
Yeah, you did it. Yeah, you did it. That's fine.
But no,
Kia Sportage, though,
Yes, the Sportage. As for the Sportage, you can expect a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine with either front or all-wheel drive. Kia didn't give us a ton of specifics. This was a global debut, but it will come to the U.S., and we should learn more about it later this year when it comes closer to coming on sale in the U.S.
Excellent. Beautiful vehicle from Kia. I look forward to driving that. I look forward to driving the Maverick. I'd love to drive a Model S Plaid, but we'll see how that goes. They don't have a PR department anymore, so we can't go and ask a review unit. But on that note, I think it's high time we put this baby to bed. We're done here. So,
baby
Sean,
to bed.
That's right. Sean, thank you so much for your efforts and your expertise. As
you know it. You know it. Thank you. And as always, thank you, everybody, for watching. Again, the show doesn't happen without you guys. We love talking with you, answering your questions to the best we can, and we truly look forward to it every single Friday.
Yes, it is so much fun. And, of course, we've got to thank our producer, Evan Miller, who is back in the saddle this week.
Woo.
There he is. Oh, look at that. He's
another haircut.
He's
he
in
is
good
just a
spirits
chameleon.
This week. He's enjoying himself a little bit too much. Wonder if he's on some mind-altering medications. Anyway, on that note, you can join us live every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern right here on the Roadshow YouTube channel for our live broadcast. But a quick programming note, jot this down, get a sticky note. I'll wait. You got your sticky note and a pen? Okay. Next week, we're moving the show to Thursday. So next week, Roadshow News Recap, Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern. We've got some corporate day off the Friday, so we're actually going to take that. So we're pulling everything forward a day. So check it out next week, Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern. We look forward to seeing you then. Thank you for watching today. And on that note, you all have a wonderful weekend. Take care.